Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Welcome in. It's another installment of the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show here on Comcast Beach TV. That is the Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens 93.5 The Beach. We are broadcasting from the Ravens Room here at the Blue Ox, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in Ocean City with Ravens Roost 44. Give yourselves a hand, guys. It is week number 5 in the NFL, and for your 3-1 Baltimore Ravens coming up, we're going to recap the 23-16 win over the Cleveland Browns last Thursday night. We'll talk news and notes. We'll talk news and notes around the AFC North as well, and we'll preview the upcoming 1 o'clock game against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Ravens Wrap Show is brought to you by our friends, of course, at the original Green Turtle, of course, the Blue Ox Bar and Grill here. Also, our friends at Bud Light, the Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Ocean City Golf Club, Holiday Inn Express, Geico, and jctickets.net. I'm Mike Bradley from 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. To my left, making his first appearance in the 2012 season, former Baltimore Colt, All-Pro safety, Bruce Laird. A round of applause.
Fuck you! Go!
And to our left, one of our guest hosts from Ravens Roost 44, Steve Slaza. Welcome back, Steve. And it's good that someone sitting in that seat has come with the appropriate attire, unlike someone that we know, Mr. Gehrig, that shows up in whatever garb he wants to. Well, as you can see, folks, of course, this is a Ravens Wrap Show, but I don't think that we can not recognize the Baltimore Orioles and their 2012 season. As you can see, we are decked out, a couple of us. I've got the away Baltimore jersey, which I love that they went to that a few years ago. I know you've got your Buck University. Is that what it stands for, right? Buck University for TV, idea. Right?
I have no idea, but I love Buck and I love what they're doing. I mean, what a team concept that these young guys have come together with a few wily veterans mixed in, but it's why not us? That's what I believe that he brings to the table, and I love it when he says it's in the moment, and I think that's what these guys are doing, and why not?
We've got 2 really good coaches in Baltimore, coaches of our professional teams. Well, Bruce, it's your first appearance, as we mentioned, of the 2012 season. The Ravens 3-1, playing some 3 games in 18 days. Yeah. We're already through the first quarter pole of the season. It's amazing. 4 games into the season, 3-1. Bruce, give us your assessment of this Ravens team, both offensively and, of course, defensively.
Well, the main thing in the National Football League, which we all talk about, it's all about the W's. And you're 3-1 at the quarter pole. You played 4 games. You're at that situation. You played 2 division games and won them, and that's big. You know, the Cincinnati team you played on week 1 is not the Cincinnati team you're going to play later on. Right. You're going to watch this, and I think the whole league evolves now. You see more and more of the teams coming together. And here's a stat for you, folks. In the last 15 years, think about this. In the last 15 years, 10 teams have gone from 500 or less to play in the Super Bowl. 10 teams have gone from 500 or less to be in that Super Bowl game. So that's what the league is right now. You're going to see ups and downs, and that's what you get all the time. You really don't know, in my humble opinion, what team totally shows up anymore. But this Baltimore team, to me, Mike and Steve, I don't think they're going to lose many games. They may get beat, but they won't lose the games themselves, and that's Harbaugh and coaching.
You take a look at this offense, and we'll get into some stats in the next segment, but this is a team that's certainly going through a transition, Bruce, from a defensive team, which I know they're still going to make sure that we have a solid defense, but certainly there's an evolution where we're getting more players on the offensive end, and at least through 4 games, there's a long way to go. But through the first 4 games, some of the stats for the offense are staggering. Total yards, I will give this stat, total yards offensively, number 2 in the NFL.
How about that? Only behind the great Tom Brady. And Steve, here's something that you got to look at defensively. You lose the Suggs, the 14.5 sacks. You lose that, but you're truly going back to a 3-4 front. You really do not have any defensive ends with Suggs gone. Now, if you want to consider Paul Kruger a defensive end, God bless you. You may or may not, but you know that dog won't hunt to me. So you got Dean Pease trying to manufacture pressure with 4 or 5 guys.
Well, really, what we did against New England, where they take out the nose tackle and they go with 2 defensive tackles and walk up, both the linebackers on the outside. So, you're really going with a 4-2-5, which was very interesting to see them do. But I think he's done a nice job of getting it together, especially when you watch New England against Buffalo, and Brady just absolutely torched. I mean, at the game, I'm sitting there going, why aren't we blitzing? Why aren't we blitzing? Well, we didn't blitz because you saw what he did to Buffalo. So he's disguising the blitzes, and he's not bringing the jailhouse blitz. He's just bringing, 1 extra guy, and you don't know where it's coming from. So. Well,
Dean's obviously, because he spent time in New England, I think, through some of their Super Bowl time, he very obviously knows Brady very, very well. He sent pressure in that game. He sent pressure 9 times in the first 14 plays that they ran. Brady picked up all of it. He checked off to run 6 times. He threw the football, and then Dean really had to realize, if I get into that with Brady, after time, he'll pick you apart. So, he backed off the pedal a little bit. He only sent 4. He tried to mix coverages, and that's what you have to do with those great quarterbacks. If you give them a pre-snap read and they firmly believe that you're in, whether it's man-to-man or a dog or some combo, and they're sitting there and they know it before they snap the ball, it's like eating your favorite ice cream. Is that good? And that's how Brady attacks you.
Yeah, those guys are pretty smart. Obviously, from the defensive perspective, Bruce, having played secondary, this was a secondary that many said might be one of the best in the NFL. I think certainly to some mixed results. I know Kerry Williams, and I wanted to ask you specifically about him because we've talked about this the last couple of weeks. In my mind, he's not getting beat deep, but his technique's bad. He's certainly not looking back at the ball to be able to make a play, and a lot of back shoulder throws that Tom Brady's infamous for being made in general. I think these are correctable mistakes. I don't think it's a situation where you have to bench the guy. He's not getting beat deep, but certainly, if you play pitch and catch all day, that's just as bad. So
it's interesting for a young corner that's big and strong like he is, when he plays the press technique, and we've been saying it for a long time, he doesn't put his hands on the receiver. And if you're just going to take your lady out for a waltz and you're not going to hold her and grab her, what's the sense of dancing? So if you're going to get up there, you better put your hands on them, bang them up a little bit, and there's nothing wrong early on in a football game, especially with a classy receiver, to take that 5-yard penalty, bang the heck out of them. I used to do this with Lynn Swann. Lynn was a great player, but didn't like physicality, didn't like to be touched. So I just hit him in the mouth every 3 or 4 plays. And just say, Lynn, just think of this. We got 65, 70 more plays like this. So you try and get him out of his thing. And good players, we call them thoroughbreds. You got to mix up a thoroughbred. You can't do that with those people. So that's what I think Kerry needs to know. And also, I think because their communication has been so rough the first 4 games overall in the secondary, we've had two plays for touchdowns go with blown coverages. Yep. There's been more and more of that. So you got a young player who's not quite sure, and he goes, well, will Ed Reed be there or won't he be there? Should I play my technique and then all of a sudden look back and there's no one there? Yeah. And then Ed doesn't take the bullet for him. So I think he's in a tough spot.
Yeah, we always seem like the beginning of every season for the Ravens, the secondary has some communication issues. We always talk about that. They seem to get better, Steve, I think, as the season goes on. But early on, that's hurt us. We were talking before the show about some of those very blown coverages there.
But I think you'll see. I mean, I think that was a play. And even when he broke on the ball, Kerry Williams was still hesitant about it. And he sort of looked down and said, did I really intercept that? Once he got the ball, he was gone. I mean, the kid's a stud. But, you know, like we're saying, I mean, how can you be a stud when you have your back to the ball? When the ball's in the air, you're not playing it. You know, his technique is just killing it. But I think that was the type of play that I really think will boost him up into the level he should be playing at for the rest of the year.
He's going to need, I mean, you get out there in that Autobahn, that highway as we call it, and you're going to need that confidence. You absolutely have to have that confidence. You have to have quarterback mentality. I throw 3 picks, give me the ball again because I'm going to throw a touchdown pass. And they must get that, and that takes time and experience to do that. But he's got to understand when that receiver looks back, I look back. When he's making a break, I start making a break, and be more physical. He's a big, strong guy. Bang him around a little bit. And, you know, the little Smurfs that we played against New England, got a little Smurf. Bang the Smurf up.
Awesome.
Don't let the Smurf run around all day because that's his game.
Well, speaking of being physical, Jimmy Smith is actually stature-wise a little bit taller, a little bit bigger than Kerry Williams, and yet he's also a guy that says he's not comfortable in getting physical with the jam technique, with the press technique of the receivers or against the receivers. That's something he's going to have to get used to because with his size and his long arms, there's no reason why he shouldn't, right?
Mike, does he want to go back and play college?
Maybe so.
I mean, in this business, that's your game. Yeah. You have to do that. You have the 5-yard rule. I played in the 5-yard rule towards the end of my career. It's there. You got to take advantage of it, and you can't let these receivers. I mean, look at the timing that you see all around the league. The back shoulder throw, the out and stop. I mean, those balls. The great quarterbacks, those balls are let go before that receiver is even out of his break. Right. And if you can't play that way, it's what Harbaugh told Flacco 2 years ago. If it's man-to-man, Joe, they're open. Throw the football.
Yeah. Don't you think that's, I mean, the inverse is true where our receivers are getting jammed and getting bumped where, you know, we're not doing it. And
Philadelphia, perfect example.
We'll see what happens to us, I think is your point.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bruce, if he does want to jam him, he's got to start looking for another profession because you're a big boy and you're outside. You got to jam that guy.
What would you, as we wrap up this first segment, what would be your grade of the secondary? We'll get your grades on some of the other positions. But
my grade is secondary because of the lack of communication and the yardage, and this includes somewhat the linebackers as well, is a C.
And I think we can all agree, though, to be fair, and we got about 60 seconds to be fair to the secondary, the lack of the pass rush has certainly been evident. And even in the Cleveland game, which we'll get into in the next segment as well, after a while, that offensive line started picking up even the blitzes. And any quarterback, even an average quarterback that has time, is going to make completions.
And understand this, folks. When you're in that huddle and that dog is called, when those 6 people are going after the quarterback, whoever they may be, when we're sitting in there, I know when I played, I sat there and said, fellas, against certain people, boys, you got it, fellas, you got to get to that quarterback. Yeah. Guys, get to him. I don't care what you're doing. Because at 1,003, I got to play. I got to believe that you're getting to him, or he's off the spot, or it's a high ball, because that's the only way I can play with the confidence that you're going to move him in 3 seconds.
All right, more of the Ravens Wrap Show coming our way right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. We'll be back.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.